based on a true story, begins with a young woman getting brutally murdered by LA's West Side Ripper as she does her nightly AR workout. The scene then cuts to 2 weeks earlier. The audience is introduced to the protagonists of the story, Ava and Nate Bartlett, who are both at the crossroads of their lives. Ava, a true crime podcast aficionado, is an LA realtor stuck in the low-end market, and Nate, a former tennis star, struggles to stay relevant at his country club as a hot young tennis instructor rises in popularity amongst the stay-at-home moms, who used to be Nate's bread and butter.
I've been here for 17 years.
Yes, I think that's part of the issue.
Ava and Nate are both deeply dissatisfied with their lives, and both ponder what it would be like to step outside their marriage. Things start falling apart in their house, but they're low on funds, so Nate brings up that he's been thinking about starting a tennis podcast.
Okay, I don't think anyone wants to listen to a podcast about tennis. You know what they do want to listen to? Murder.
Not everyone's obsessed with murder like you.
Yes, they are.
The Bartletts hire Matt the plumber to fix their toilet, and Ava and her sister both admit they think he's hot. When Matt finds mold on the pipes underneath the sink, Nate and Matt work out a deal, where Nate gives Matt tennis lessons twice a week, since Nate and Ava are so broke. While Ava and her friends talk about true crime podcasts and having affairs, Nate and Matt go out for drinks after their tennis lesson, and Nate flirts with the bartender who got killed in the cold open. When Nate and Matt go back to the bar, Nate bumps into the bartender again, and they have a brief, awkward moment. The next day, Ava finds a browser tab open of that same young woman on Nate's laptop. Her name's Chloe Lake, and it appears she was recently found dead.
The serial killer known as the West Side Ripper, who has been terrorizing LA's West Side.
The West Side Ripper.
You looking at my laptop?
So this girl was with you at the bar last night before she was killed?
No. She wasn't with me. She bumped into me, and now she's dead.
When the news releases evidence that the West Side Ripper left the same blue booties Matt wears as a courtesy while working in clients' houses at the scene of the crime, Ava takes Nate aside to tell him that she thinks Matt is the West Side Ripper. When Matt leaves, Nate grabs the phone to call the police, but Ava gets the bright idea to turn their situation into a true crime podcast. Nate tells Matt that he knows he's the West Side Ripper, then pitches him on the podcast idea. When Nate threatens to call the police if Matt doesn't do the podcast, Matt surfs off into the ocean, and Nate tells him he's got 48 hours to decide or he's calling the police. 2 detectives come to Nate's work. They have footage of him talking to the bartender Chloe Lake and Matt, and they question him on his relationship to both of them. Matt agrees to do the podcast if Nate agrees to still play darts. Matt figures out that Ava is the brains behind the operation and confronts her before they get started. When they interview Matt, he opens by saying he's killed 4 women, and Ava and Nate wonder if he's telling the truth. After listening to the Bartletts' cut of the podcast, Matt decides to make his own cut. Matt doesn't take criticism well when Ava offers him a few notes on his changes.
What I'm trying to do here is drag you out of your Mar Vista chicken Caesar comfort zone and embrace something truly visionary.
We're not comfortable being a part of a project that's promising future murders.
Guess you should have thought about that before you got into business with a fucking serial killer.
Matt starts to treat the Bartletts more like hostages than business associates. He decides to call the podcast based on a true story, The West Side Ripper Speaks, and uploads it onto a secure Russian server. Matt, Ava, and Nate go to CrimeCon 2023 in Vegas. To their disappointment, their podcast has only 113 downloads so far, when an alleged West Side Ripper victim, Dahlia Stone, who claims to have kicked the Ripper in the balls, saw his face, and got away, is promoting her book at their first event. Matt claims she's lying.
Bullshit, I'd never seen her before in my life.
Oh, really? Are you just mad she kicked you in the balls and then escaped?
All we need to worry about is our brand.
Our brand?
Mysterious serial killer who leaves no witnesses, not serial killer who gets kicked in his fucking balls and runs away.
Later that night, Matt finds Dahlia Stone at the rooftop bar and calls her out. Matt walks away, and in the next scene, Dahlia Stone comes flying off the roof and is impaled on an umbrella at the table next to Ava and Nate as they sit down for dinner.
But that's it. I leave and... couldn't handle it.
Or maybe she realized that she was standing in front of the West Side Ripper who was gonna finish the job, so you threw her the fuck over.
Okay.
When the TV writer says she needs fresh new content every month, Matt has an epiphany and walks off. The next day, he does the second episode live through the speakers at the conference, where he admits to killing Dahlia Stone.
We've got to change it up. This is changing it up. So get on board. Because this dream, it's happening right now.
Hey, you see the Daily Beast?
Who is the voice of Based on a True Story?
Can you believe that?
And we are everywhere.
Right?
Ruby finds Ava's burner phone in Vegas with a text about the podcast, so Ruby throws a party and calls the number from Ava's burner phone's text while spying on Matt. When Matt answers, Ruby gets the confirmation that he's the West Side Ripper. Ruby lets Ava think she convinced her that Matt is just pretending to be the West Side Ripper. After Ruby's husband gives Ruby's boyfriend Carlos $250 grand, promising to open his gyms on the East Coast if he promises never to come back to LA, Ruby asks Ava if they can let her in on their podcast. Ruby tries to blackmail Ava, saying that she knows Matt's the killer and that if she doesn't let her in on the podcast, she'll go to the police.
You with your little 400 calories a day, your cool sculpt, and your amazing blowjobs you can't stop bragging about.
They are amazing.
Well, not amazing enough to keep Carlos around.
Blowjobs are the fucking best. Everyone in LA knows it. And Dubai.
Jessica Alba and an army of retweeting celebrities called to cancel Based on a True Story, and Spotify pulls their deal. Nate takes Ava to their new Malibu beach house. They get into an argument and Ava storms off. When she opens the door, Ruby's dead body comes crashing to the floor with a dart sticking out of her neck.
Why did you frame me with the dart? We're supposed to be partners.
Nathan, if I wanted to frame you, I'd have dumped your body on Sunset Boulevard. All right? I just want you to know that I could frame you if I ever wanted.
Matt demands they meet him with Ruby's body at their house in an hour. When they get to their house, all their friends pop out to throw them an anniversary party. Nate and Ava find Ruby's phone and listen to a message from the police, getting back to her about the relevant information she had about the West Side Ripper. Nate and Ava bury Ruby's body underneath the tennis courts that are currently under construction at Nate's work. It's revealed that Matt and Ava's sister, Tori, have been hooking up. And then Ruby's husband, Simon, walks in on Ava and Nate, mopping up Ruby's blood at their new Malibu beach house.
Oh. Whose blood is that?
Below near 30 cents.